All right, so it's finally time to get the network closet all redone. So what that means is getting power from the UPS run up the wall and into the panel and plugged in, and then all of these network cables here ran up in the wall and then coming out behind the actual network rack, so we no longer have to see this, and this panel will now be flushly closed. So let's go ahead and get started. We need to power everything off, and once we do that, then we can literally just start ripping stuff out and I guess running cable. Let's get started. All right, server shut down. Now we can shut down the UDM Pro. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way because we won't need it right now. And so right here is a UPS. This UPS will be going hasta la bye-bye. Probably permanently. I'm not 100% sure. I still may end up using it, but I doubt with the new setup that we're going to go for. And there's also a UPS up top that I don't think you guys can see. That's going to go hasta la bye-bye as well. And all of this will be powered by our new Eaton UPS. And we're probably going to rearrange the rack a little bit. Oh man, I forgot my screwdriver. Jeez. Okay, so this is going to take an eternity to shut down, but I'm just going to go ahead and start unplugging everything anyway. And we'll stick it on the server rack for now. And, well, I guess I can just unplug everything. Yeah, just unplug everything. All right, I think that is all of the network equipment powered off. One of the UPS is still running down there. We're gonna turn that off here in a moment, but we can go ahead and get this panel removed too since we need to. And then we're gonna pull all this equipment out, and we will be well on our way to getting all of this redone. All right, now everything's powered off. And as you can see, what we have going on here, we have some pretty substantial extra loopage going on here. It is getting a little short, I suppose, but that's okay, 'cause since we're going back up in the wall, we should have plenty of length now that we're going to be coming out at the back of this instead of all the way down and then back up. And then the next guy that owns this house will probably appreciate that they come behind the network rack versus coming into here and then out of the panel. And personally, I think it would look a lot cleaner as well. So if I like it, then presumably other people would like it also. Okay, so this cable needs to go back down. And wow, this is gonna be weird. How are we gonna do this? I guess we'll just start pulling everything out and then figure it out as we go. All right, up next is just to remove all of the network equipment. Yay! This might take a while. This might be a little faster. UDM Pro. We're just gonna leave this in here for now. In retrospective, I probably should have just left this tied down, but or screwed down, whatever. All right, finally our 16 port 10 gig switch. Not finally, but sort of finally, our CyberPower UPS. Which actually might be tied down with a bunch of stuff, so we may not be able to easily remove this one. I guess we may as well go ahead and remove this shelf because I don't think we'll be using it anymore, and also it might get in the way. All right, so there's really no way for me to show you guys what's going on or what I'm doing up here, but I'm just removing the CyberPower UPS and unplugging everything to, I guess, make space for myself. So they're not really missing anything here. Ow. Wow, that's heavier than I remember. Okay, and so just to give you guys an idea of what's gonna happen here. So we're gonna cut a hole that basically sort of lines up with this panel here. And we're gonna sort of center it in this area here. Now, I don't know how big I'm gonna make the hole. I have no, we're not gonna put like a piece of plastic or some sort of pass-through. we're literally just gonna cut a hole in the drywall, and that's gonna be that. We're not gonna do anything fancy there. We might try and do like a piece of plastic or something later, but I think for now it's just a hole will be fine. Yeah, that's it. So what's funny is I actually have cables running in the wall right now, and I'm cutting pretty nearby where they would be. And I didn't think about this till just now, but I really hope I don't cut anything, because that would be terrible. I don't think I will, but it's kind of a risk I'm taking, and I don't know why I'm not doing anything about it, because I'm just going to continue cutting. Alright, that should be, I don't know, wide enough. It looks like there's a cable right here that I may have jabbed a little bit. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a cut on it, but I think it'll be okay. It's not deep, and I don't think it even penetrated the jacket. Yeah, it doesn't look like that even penetrated the jacket. Oh man, if we would have cut just an inch lower, we would have ran into all of this cable. There's so much cable right here. Holy cow, how lucky do you get? All right, first things first, we gotta undo all of these cables here and get them pulled down and pushed back up to go through that hole, and rerun this power all the way down the wall instead, because this is a PDU that you can't see. It's just hidden right up underneath this lip, so that PDU will go all the way down now and into one of the UPSs. So I actually don't know how we're gonna do this just yet. I think we're gonna wait for the network cables, because I will need to cut them all off of here and then rewire them. So we'll do the network cables last, but we will go ahead and do our fiber one, because that should be pretty easy. Thank goodness they gave me so much length of this stuff, or I would not be having a good time. Thankfully this PDU has tons of cable length. I don't know how long this cable length is, but it should be more than enough to go actually down the wall for us, thankfully. Oh yeah, that's more than plenty. More than. Of course, I'm doing this the hardest way possible, which makes sense. Okay, well, I guess I won't show you guys some of the stuff, because it's gonna be too hard to work the camera and then do everything, so oops. Alright, so we got the power cable, the first power cable for the PDU passed down, and I think we're not gonna run it just quite yet all the way down this wall, because I want to get most of these cables managed first before we start doing or running everything down the wall, because I don't know what's going to get tangled, and I want to make sure the network cables are out of the way first. Where's that fiber cable? And now we got our fiber cable pass through. So this just goes from the outside of the house. So this is AT&T's like fiber to fiber. I don't know. It maybe even does some sort of converter, but it's not a fiber jack like we've typically seen in the past. It literally just takes in the fiber line from the outside of the house and brings it to the inside of the house. So I don't know, whatever. Seems like a waste of cable to me. All right, I guess, and now for the part that I'm just gonna skip forward, redoing all of the punch downs for the network. So really can't manage the camera as well as show you guys this. So we'll just skip ahead to when that's complete. This is all of them. All punched down. I think I did a pretty good job. Probably could have done better, but I think it's fine. And we're gonna clean this up a little bit, but that's what it'll look like coming out of that wall. And yeah, we left some space here for some additional cameras in the future. So I don't know where they'll go, but we got space for that. And I guess now it's time to get everything racked up. I think we're done running most of the cables for now. I think that's what it's gonna look like until we really clean this up more. These three cables that are sitting off to the side are significant in the sense that they actually run all the way down here. Yes, that still looks like crap. That's because I'm not done. We actually have to run the power cables from the UPS's up and then into the outlets here. So that's why this is still all messed up. Don't worry about that. But we've got all our cables mostly managed. You can clearly see that there's different lengths. The light blue ones, all the ones that are light blue, came with the house, and then all of the darker blue cables are ones that I ran. And we get some like very extreme different lengths in here. Actually, this one goes to the outside of the house, so that one doesn't count. Yeah, see, this goes outside the house. We don't even use this one. So that's what it looks like. We got our fiber cable run. I didn't want to bundle that in with all the blue cables just in case I tug on that sometime later in the future. And then of course our really bad hole up there where the cable fiber currently runs to the AT&T gateway, but I'm not sure if the gateway will permanently stay up there or if we'll have room for it down here under this lip. So we're gonna go ahead and start racking everything. UDM Pro is gonna go here, 16 gig switch, XG, and then we'll have a 2U space for hopefully that. So time to get racking. UDM Pro up first. Time for our 16 port 150 watt switch, and we need some screws for our nuts. Can't forget those. And finally, last but not least, our 16 port 10 gig switch, also from Ubiquiti. Okay, I think I like the way everything looks for now. Let me go ahead and show you guys so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. I mean, that's the original setup, and then of course there's this big gap here that's about 2U in size, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna take the gateway and stick it down in that 2U hole right there. I think it'll be best because I'm tired of having things, the gateway on top. It needs to, I'd really like it if it was more hidden. And if we really need, or like maybe in the future if we get another switch or something, or decide to put a second, or actually third UPS, we can do that at the bottom or whatever. But for now, we're not going to do that. And I did move the, excuse me, I did move the PDU to the top of the rack so I can more easily grab the power cables in the future instead of on the bottom. And I can actually see what I'm doing. So that'll be nice. I guess let's go ahead and start running power and network cables. Okay, so I think we're done with the network rack. This is what it ended up looking like. I think that turned out pretty well. I'm not too happy with all of this that's going on here. I think I'm gonna run these back straight up underneath there. But otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. And we took a play out of Craft Computing's playbook, and these blue cables signify PoE, or just, you know, those Ethernet cables have electricity flowing through them. But otherwise, it's gonna look just like this. And the gateway obviously is not down there, mostly because it doesn't fit. It would fit, but I'd have to remove the UDM Pro because it's too tall and fat to get in there. So I don't feel like doing that, so I'm just gonna leave it the way it is, and whatever, it's fine. All right, now the last thing to do is get the server rack back in here and run some power up the wall. All right, let's go ahead and get this bad boy wheeled back into the closet, and we are so close to being done, and I'm gonna be so happy when I don't have to look at these messed up cables anymore. I actually got to get back behind this thing and plug things in before we can wheel it all the way to the front. So power cables can stay there. That can stay there. We're basically just plugging in Ethernet at this point. Everything else is just a toy. Power to the PDU is plugged in, so now we can scoot this all the way back, and we are done. All right, so got the power cables up the wall. They go through that little hole over there, come out right here. Both of these go to the UPSs, the sub-power UPSs. And as we plug them in, we should hear them turn on. Yep, there we go. So we now just need to turn all the network equipment on. I have the switch turned off so that it doesn't kick on. And honestly, they shouldn't turn on anyway because the batteries aren't enabled. It's just powering the actual system itself. So yeah, that's it, man. We are done. How does that look? I'd say that looks really clean. Now the next thing in the future we need to do is run those two cables up into the attic, around and down behind the wall, and probably through that same hole. And this thing will look really freaking clean and as close as to professional as you're gonna get from me, especially since there's so many holes in the walls. But yeah, whew, What a project. Okay, for real though, now the final actual look at. So pretty much the same thing. Now the panel is actually on and no more cables running up underneath into the server rack. We actually need to put on the panel that used to go here to block that hole, and that is what it looks like. I don't think it's gonna get any better looking than that, at least for now. It is summertime, so I'm totally unwilling to go in the attic to run those cables, and yeah.